So come with me, everybody. Today I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about a few mods that I'm looking at doing. Actually, after owning the M5 here for a while, I quickly realized there's a lot of things and a lot of benefit from additional modifications you can get in these M5s. You can do things to the exhaust, to the intake, to the engine, and brakes. And I'm actually going to potentially look at some of these modifications here in the near future. Let's go for a ride. So I've done a bunch of research online and I found a pile of modifications that look very appetizing. The things that I'd love to do to this car yet, I haven't yet quite decided, and I'd like you guys out there to hopefully give me some information. I've done enough research, but in your mind, where are the best modifications? Where's the best dollar spent on these M5s? So popular modifications that I found online for these cars, and definitely for the first-time mod people, the guys that really haven't gone too deep or don't want to go real deep, there's things like the ram air scoops. You can put the cone filters on there. That will give you a little bit of power. I mean, generally when you're talking modifications, I think it's fair to say that there's a lot of powerful claims online that all these aftermarket tuners and modifiers, they all say, we'll add plus 10, we'll add plus 20, we'll add plus 50. Don't count on that. It's not additive, but a lot of these modifications work well together. So things that always work well together are intake for breathing and exhaust. Now, one thing I'm looking at doing on this M5 is an exhaust system. What do you guys think about an exhaust? What I understand is the cars I've seen, like the V10 cars like this, you put the exhaust system on it and it just wakes it right up. It becomes almost like a Lamborghini in terms of the sound that you get out of it. It absolutely shrieks and it's a beautiful noise. So the exhaust I'm looking at possibly doing. Another thing, like I said, the intake and the cones. ECU flash, there's a potential horsepower earnings there with the ECU flash. There are upgrades, potentially some guys go with the pulleys. The pulleys really aren't going to give you any horsepower, but they will potentially take away a little bit of that lag in that throttle and the acceleration. You might feel a little bit of more of an immediate response coming from the pulley, or smaller pulley, that is. Other things that you could look at doing, if you're looking at spending a lot more money, there's some other bigger mods that you can do. Other modifications, so those are the kind of the high level ones. The ones that might cost you a couple grand here or a few grand there. Not big dollar items, and certainly not that invasive. Quite easily to put on, and for the most part, quite easy to take off. Things that are also available for modifications on these E60 M5s, and I love the idea of this, stroker. There's no secret that these cars have bearing problems, potentially rod bearing issues. With that, if you're going to the trouble of doing a partial build, maybe pull the engine out and look at a stroker kit. I mean, these cars really benefit from the stroker kits. There are potentially other kits too, supercharging or turbocharging as well, that are being developed or have been developed for this car. Those things are all big time bolt on. If you're looking for that next level of performance, I'm not sure I'm there yet. I'm definitely looking at probably the entry-level type of stuff, exhaust and intake and possibly ECU. Let's wake it up a little bit. Not that these E60 M5s are in any way a slouch, and I think most people out there who've driven these or experienced them firsthand can definitely attest. These cars are magnificent. And really, aside from maybe stepping it up to a 700 horsepower hypercar, you're not gonna find much better than this. For a car that does this much so well, the E60 M5, it is a spectacular car in its own right, but like everything, people like to change things, fine-tune them, possibly customize them for their own liking. And I'm no different. Other things you can look at is rear differential. You can shorten up gearing as well. So you shorten up gearing, what does that do? Yeah, you lose top end speed, of course. You gain in acceleration. Now, this car already accelerates, stock figures, 0 to 60, 4.3 seconds, 200 and whatever miles per hour top speed. Now, if you go and reduce gearing, you can imagine what that does to both those figures. You can drop down, depending on your gear ratio, drop down the top speed way below that 200 miles an hour. However, you can dramatically drop down your 0 to 60 times as well, thus yielding a much harder accelerating experience. So there are some very high level ideas, folks, and I hope you enjoyed that. I'm really looking for you guys out there to kind of make some suggestions. I mean, there's a lot of folks out there like yourselves and others, you know, some of you with it, E60 M5s, some that are learning about it, and some that have gone down the modification road. And I'd like to know what all you guys think. You know what, I haven't done anything. This car is bone stock the way it sits right now. And like I said, those are some high level items that you can hit. Now, I'm really looking for your ideas. Please provide feedback. That really helped me a lot, because you know what, I'm not really in the market for trial and run. I'm not looking to experiment with some unknown territories. I really just want something that's tried and true for this car. I know exhaust is a good start, intake, ECU, like I said already. Those are great places to start. But again, I hope you like this video. Please leave suggestions in the comment box below. And at the end of the day, please do comment, like, and subscribe. And we will talk to you on the next video. Thanks again.